If you think the Apple Watch Ultra has peaked and there is absolutely no reason to upgrade this year, you are dead wrong. Apple is about to turn your wrist into a literal fortress, and honestly, no one saw this coming. There is one specific new feature heading to the Apple Watch Ultra 4 that changes exactly how we secure our digital lives, but we will get to that NASA-level engineering in just a minute. First, let us talk about how we actually got here. Remember the days of the early internet, listening to those harsh dial-up tones, or that feeling when you held the very first iPhone in your hand back in the day? That raw realization that technology just took a massive, undeniable leap forward. That is exactly what the original Apple Watch Ultra felt like when it dropped back in 2022. It was rugged, it had a battery that actually lasted more than a single afternoon, and it finally felt like a watch built for guys who know exactly what they want out of their gear. Then in 2023, we got the Ultra 2. It brought a slightly newer chip, a brighter screen, and of course, that stealthy black titanium color that looked like something pulled straight out of a military catalog. And just last year, in 2025, Apple gave us the Ultra 3. To me, that was a highly significant upgrade because they finally unlocked SOS satellite connectivity. If you find yourself out in the middle of nowhere, maybe taking a road trip across the Nevada desert, or hiking a remote trail where cellular signals go to die, you can still connect to a satellite for emergency calls and text messages without needing your iPhone in your pocket. Honestly, that was a feature that should have been there from day one, but we were just glad to finally have it. But here is the thing. Everything we have seen so far is just a warm-up act for what is coming down the pipeline in just about 5 months from now. According to recent supply chain reports and guys who track this stuff religiously, the Apple Watch Ultra 4 is bringing 4 major upgrades that will make you seriously question holding on to your current model. So let us get right into it. Leak number 1 is all about a massive design overhaul. For 3 solid generations, we have essentially strapped the exact same chunk of titanium to our wrists. It is iconic, sure, but it is undeniably chunky. Well, it looks like Apple is finally putting the Ultra on a much-needed diet. According to supply chain leaks, we are looking at a brand new design that is up to 15% slimmer than the current model. Now, Apple did this exact same thing a couple of years ago when they brought out the Series 10, making it noticeably thinner than the Series 9. But they are not just shaving off the thickness here. We are also hearing credible reports of a slightly larger display area with razor-thin bezels. Imagine the ruggedness you already love, but heavily refined. It is going to feel a lot less like a bulky dive computer and much more like a premium, high-end timepiece that just happens to be completely indestructible. And yes, they are definitely keeping that tactical aesthetic that you guys are such a big fan of. I know what some of you are thinking right now. You are sitting there saying, if they make it slimmer, won't the battery life take a massive hit? Because let us be brutally honest, the main reason most of us bought the Ultra in the first place was so we did not have to charge the damn thing twice a day. Well, hold on to your hats, because that leads us directly to leak number 2. And this is where the engineering gets incredibly smart. Instead of worse battery life, power efficiency is about to go entirely through the roof. According to a highly credible report from DG Times, the upcoming S11 chip inside this watch is an absolute game changer. The power efficiencies are improved significantly over the S10. And here is where it gets crazy. Because the watch is getting a ground-up redesign, similar to what we saw when Apple completely overhauled the iPhone 17 Pro, they are actually able to optimize the internal space much better. Chips have gotten incredibly small, and internal components are packed tighter than ever, meaning they can still fit a massive battery capacity inside that new, slimmer case. When you combine a hyper-efficient S11 chip with optimized internal battery space, we are not just maintaining the current battery life, we are potentially extending it out even. And further. Right now, a heavy user might get a day and a half out of their Ultra. With this new setup, we could realistically be pushing almost 2 full days of heavy, consistent use. Now let us be real with each other for a second. It is not going to give you that Garmin 6-day battery life where you literally forget what a charger even looks like. Apple is simply not built that way. But pushing a reliable 2 days and a noticeably slimmer profile. That is a massive win for guys like us who just want our tech to work hard without constantly hunting for a wall outlet. But a bigger battery and a sleek design mean absolutely nothing if the watch cannot do its core job accurately. And that brings us to the third massive leak, the biometric sensors. Over the last few years, Apple has coasted just a little bit on their sensor technology. The heart rate monitor and ECG are fantastic, but they have largely remained unchanged since the early iterations. For the Ultra 4, we are getting a complete overhaul under the hood. Now, before you get too excited, we are not talking about some sci-fi blood glucose monitor that magically reads your sugar levels from across the room. Instead, what Mark Gurman over at Bloomberg has been hinting at is that Apple is taking the current sensors and absolutely supercharging them. We are talking about drastically improved accuracy and thermal efficiency. If you rely on this watch for your actual health data, you want pinpoint, clinical accuracy. You want it to know exactly what your heart is doing during a heavy workout, not just guessing your pulse while you are out mowing the lawn. These new sensors will draw far less power while providing clinical-grade accuracy that completely blows the older generation models out of the water. Every single leak we have talked about so far is highly impressive. But none of it even comes close to comparing to the final upgrade. This is the one I teased at the very beginning of the video, and honestly, this changes absolutely everything about how we use this device. Right now, the security on your Apple Watch is basically running on the Honor system. If it is strapped to a wrist, the software simply assumes you are you. Think about that glaring flaw for a second. You have your premium credit cards loaded onto it, your private text messages, your work emails. You just double-tap the side button at the hardware store and the NFC pays for your entire cart. That is incredibly convenient, but from a strict security standpoint, it is like leaving your car keys in the ignition with the engine running and just hoping the neighbors are friendly. Well, no more. Supply chain whispers and credible industry insiders are heavily suggesting that the main action button on the Apple Watch Ultra 4 is officially getting Touch ID built directly into it. Let that sink in for a moment. Biometric, military-grade security directly on your wrist. This means true, undeniable authentication before you make a high-value payment. It means you can finally lock specific, sensitive apps behind a fingerprint, just exactly like you do on your iPhone or iPad. This single hardware addition takes the Ultra from being just a very smart fitness tracker to an impenetrable digital vault. It is a massive leap forward for personal security. And frankly, if you care about protecting your personal data, this upgrade makes your purchasing decision for you. So, now we have the complete picture. A much slimmer, highly refined design. The hyper-efficient S11 chip giving us near 2-day battery life. Clinical-grade sensor accuracy that finally justifies the premium price tag. And the absolute holy grail, Touch ID built directly into the action button. But that leaves two massive, unavoidable questions. When can you actually get it, and exactly how much damage is it going to do to your wallet? Well, looking at the historical release timeline, Apple is staying incredibly consistent with their manufacturing schedule. We are fully expecting the Apple Watch Ultra 4 to be officially unveiled at a dedicated Apple event in early to mid-September of 2026. You will very likely be able to get your hands on it by the middle of that exact same month. As for the price, this is where we need to have a serious, grounded conversation. Right now, early leaks indicate that Apple wants to hold the line at the standard $799. But let us look at the cold hard facts. If they totally deliver a brand new radical design, an upgraded S11 chip, completely retooled sensors, and biometric Touch ID hardware, there is a very real, very high possibility we see a notable price hike. We could easily see this price tag creep up by $100, bringing it to $899. It is Apple, after all. They are not exactly known for giving away groundbreaking, NASA-level engineering for free. So keep your wallet on standby and be fully prepared for that potential bump in cost. We have officially closed the loop on the Fort Knox security upgrade I promised you earlier, and we have broken down every single major leak hitting the supply chain right now. These upgrades combined make the Ultra 4 feel like the most complete, undeniable smartwatch Apple has ever engineered in their history. So here is my direct question for you. Does the addition of Touch ID and a slimmer titanium design finally make the Ultra 4 worth your hard-earned cash? Or are you stubbornly holding onto your current watch until the wheels literally fall off? Let me know your exact, unfiltered thoughts in the comments down below. I read every single one of them. And if this video helped you make an informed decision today, do me a favor and give it a quick thumbs up. Stay sharp out there, guys, and I will see you in the next one.